This is our official call to order of the September 2024 Mayor and Selectmen Board meeting. I'd like to ask our esteemed city attorney to offer an invocation, please.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do praise you and we thank you for your abundant grace and mercy. We thank you for the opportunity to serve on behalf of the outstanding citizens of the city of West Point. And in that regard, we ask your guidance as we tonight conduct business on behalf of the city. We pray for discernment, pray for wisdom as these decisions are made. And we're grateful for these public servants. We're grateful for interested citizens. And we pray your continued direction and blessings on this city. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. CAO Jones, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to adopt and approve the agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Is there any old business to claim our attention? Not, I will accept a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I make that motion.
Second. Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye. Aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Agenda item 4, we heard a presentation last night from Chris Gant with Wagner Engineers, as well as Ms. Phyllis Benson with the Golden Triangle Plan and Development concerning the West Churchill Sewer Replacement Project. We have bids in, or a bid in. We only got one. Our estimation is that we checked all the boxes and we are in compliance to proceed. That bid was from, I believe, Permacorp. So I will need a motion to accept that bid and move forward on this project.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we accept the bid for Permacore for the, West Churchill Sewer Project.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion?
Do we need a legal opinion on that?
In what respect?
I have here in my notes that we needed a legal opinion from our city attorney saying that we advertised properly.
No, what she asked for last night is that we send a document from our attorney to them stating that we followed the advertisement procedures and that has to go to MDA. Once they receive that letter from the city's attorney, then that's all they need to say, okay, good, go.
Fair enough.
She's communicating with
Did
you.
I'll
I-
take care of that, Mr. Mayor.
Did I
That's something
correct
that's something we can do after this vote, but that's right, I'll take care of it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Any more discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye. Opposers? That is so ordered. Did I get ahead of myself? West Churchill.
That was number 5.
Okay, yeah. No, that was number 4.
Did both of them go together?
Okay. All right, agenda item 5, asking for board approval. This is the Permacore.
That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
they go
Yeah,
together.
I think it's a duplicate.
yeah, it's a duplicate
Yeah, they
item.
go together.
Apologize. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 6, asking for board approval in selecting Golden Triangle Planning Development District to provide administrative services on a cost reimbursement basis not to exceed $40,000. And this is with respect to the West Churchill Sewer Replacement Project as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion?
Was this the item that Ms. Benson was talking about, the motion had to be made in a particular way? That it had to be worded in a proper way on the motion? Number 5 and 6, was the motion made properly the way they requested it?
She didn't say any information to it, she just said that language to be.
Okay, to be attached to, it. Okay. That's all the discussion I have.
Yeah. It's documentation. Yeah, that's why I got it.
Okay. All right, so did we get the motion proper?
Yep.
Was there a second?
Me.
Any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye. Any opposers? That is so ordered. Agenda item 7, asking for board approval for a resolution to be issued in honor of Mr. Silas Chandler. This is for an event to take place on October the 5th, the Baptist Town reunion. We have some members here from that committee tonight. Mr. Jones, is this proclamation or is this resolution in order and ready to be presented? Okay.
The attorney mentioned, I couldn't figure out the typo.
All right, so there's only one amendment. There is a typo on this resolution, misspelling of his name. So I guess the motion needs to read pending correction of this.
Correction of the resolution.
One item.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution, made with the necessary correction.
Second.
Moving properly second, in discussion. All in favor by sign of voting aye. Any opposers? That is so ordered.
And Mr. Mayor, I made that correction right on the document. I mentioned it earlier today, and it's just a minor typo, but in the last whereas paragraph, there is a typo with respect to Deacon Chandler's name.
All right, so will we get this on the actual paper that we're doing on?
Well, it'll be framed on that. You got, all right.
All right, all right, so we'll get this on the actual paper that we're doing on.
It'll be framed on that. All right. 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 All
And when can I tell the committee to expect that?
I can do it tomorrow if you need.
All right, so there's nothing to present tonight, Mr. Chairman. We'll get it done up all pretty and in a frame, and we'll get it to you guys tomorrow. And we'll do our photo ops then. All right. Yes, ma'am. And are we clear on what needs to happen on doing the honorary plate and naming the street? All systems are go on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing.
Because we need minutes. The last time we didn't vote, we did minutes, last time we did.
Yeah, I was under the impression that accepting this resolution gave us the authority to rename that street honorary.
Okay, okay.
Very well.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Benson walked in.
Okay. Do we need her? Ms. Benson, did you have anything to add tonight or? Okay. I don't think so. You did a thorough job last night of explaining to us where we are on this project. And I think we've approved what you needed approved.
I'll stay until legal counsel after the board meeting, if that's okay.
That'll work.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, agenda item 8, needing board approval for a proclamation for the Progressive Foundation. This is with respect to a cleanup day that will take place on September 21st of this year. We have a proclamation done up proclaiming this day. I guess is National Cleanup Day in West Point.
I make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Moving properly second in discussion. All in favor by sign of vote aye. Any opposers? Any so ordered. All right, agenda item 9, I now declare us officially in a public hearing. I forgot my words.
Yeah.
Public hearing to declare or not a property to be blighted. The property in question is located at 59 Mosley Avenue, belonging to Ms. Margaret Shelton. It's parcel number 083, C as in cat 414, B as in boy 03 90000. Yes, sir.
Good evening, board chair. Yes, I went through the necessary steps and procedures with the blighted property of 59 Mosley Avenue, and went from the first notice, second notice, to the board hearing, to the advertising effect and everything. And I haven't heard anything back from Ms. Shelton due to the blighted property.
Okay. Any questions for code enforcement?
So the house needs to be torn down, right?
Yes, I had several complaints from some of the neighbors with rodents in the house. When I went by to take a look at it, the house is pretty much beyond repair. The outside looks fairly decent, but overall it's steadily deteriorating as time goes by. So it's kind of beyond repair part.
Is it vacant right now, Johnny?
Yeah, these are the ones.
Mr. Samuel, which house is this?
If you're familiar with Mr. Calvin Towns,
Is it right next
right
door?
next door.
Well, I can't go this way.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Her mama's house. Yes, she moved.
All right, any more questions for code enforcement? Ms. Margaret Shelton? Ms. Margaret Shelton? Ms. Margaret Shelton? No one appears to be here to represent the Shelton family, so what do I hear?
Make a motion that we declare the property blighted.
A second.
Moved properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposers? That is so ordered. I now declare us officially out of public hearing. Agenda item 10, asking for board approval to spread across the minutes a letter in the FEMA National Emergency Management Advanced Academy. You want to give us a little backdrop again today, Tori, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This, as part of continuing education, of course, in the emergency management office, I completed the basic academy, last year, and now I've been accepted into the FEMA Advanced Academy. That FEMA Advanced Academy, is usually held in Emmitsburg, Maryland, but now they're having one in Mississippi, and there's usually a wait list. So I did get through all of the necessary steps and got accepted into it. And by doing that, this gives us a chance to not only be able to check different boxes on grants, but also to have an edge on disaster reimbursements.
All right, any questions for Tori? Being none, what do I hear?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? So ordered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Agenda item 11, asking for board approval to designate me to be the signatory on a grant that we received from the Department of Homeland Security. This grant was awarded to the West Point Fire Department in the amount of approximately $19,000 to purchase and update some equipment. Any questions for Chief Wilburn? If not, what do I hear?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Moved properly second, in discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
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 Any opposed? That's so ordered. Agenda item 12, you have in your packets a list of vehicles that are currently in the West Point Police Department's inventory. They are offering these vehicles up to be declared surplus and removed from their inventory. Do we need them individually, or can we accept the list?
Mr. Mayor, once we declare them surplus, what's the disposition? Are they scrap? Are we auctioning or scrap?
Scrap.
Okay.
Two 2025 Dodge Charger in there.
See that? How many miles on that Dodge?
You need a motor for that car, and some other work, and the motor itself is $9,000. So we had both of the chargers down at one time. So we took parts off both of them, and one to recharge.
Got it.
We gotta get scrapped. We need to do a motor charge.
Is there a motion to accept this list?
So moved.
Second.
Moving properly second, in discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so ordered. Agenda item 13, asking for board approval to award the proceeds from the national opioid settlement. Last night, we asked that there be a list provided of potential organizations to receive this money. Do we have that list?
Mr. Brown, working on it, I gave him the details required for the recipient of those funds. The only one that discussed at this point, community council. So I think we need to make a decision tonight.
Is the list ready?
Mayor, what I asked Randy is for the requirements, because it's an opioid settlement, sometimes there's really specific requirements in terms of the staffing of the organization. So I'd like to see if somebody, an organization like the Mission, might be eligible for it. They may not be due to staffing. And if that's the case, it's a clear point to community council. But I'd at least like to take some time to see.
And Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to assist Mr. Jones and Selectman Bryan in reviewing the disposition of those proceeds.
Okay. All right, well, let's make sure we provide some guidance on that. I don't want to get in any conflicts of interest.
Right. Right.
For the record, I was once upon a time involved heavily with the Mission, and no longer. On the nonprofit side of things, I serve as the executive director of Dream Center Golden Triangle, which is unrelated to the Mission.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to table this item?
What the agenda item suggests to me, just approving. Is the agenda item specifically related to disposition of the funds or receipt?
Well, last night at the work session,
Gotcha.
at the work session, the wording had approval to award the funds to community council.
Okay.
And so then I asked that if there were other organizations, that could possibly benefit, instead of just giving it to community council. Not saying that they're not deserving, but I just wanted to make sure we weren't overlooking some other entity that could benefit from the funds.
I do recommend tabling.
Make the motion that we table this, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Moving proper second in discussion. All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposers? So ordered. Madam Clerk, you make sure that one circles back next month. Agenda item 14, asking for board approval to approve and accept a new ordinance that in essence limits the distance between CBD dispensaries and liquor stores. Now, the premise behind this is, now we know marijuana is a legal thing now, it's coming. Of course, we all know what liquor stores are. The premise of this is we're not saying that we're not pro-business and not pro-expanding the tax base. We are, however, saying that we don't want to saturate our city with dispensary, liquor store. That's just not the look that we're going for here in West Point. So this potential ordinance only, I guess, governs that to keep us from having dispensaries on top of dispensaries or liquor stores on top of liquor stores. That's the premise behind potential ordinance.
And I'd like to add too, Mr. Mayor, is other communities in Mississippi are also following suit on this and putting this in place to get ahead of it. Because some places have already experienced where they're getting clustered in areas and there's so many that they're wanting to distance them out, put space between them. And then Mr. Attorney, in his preparation for this, I think that you found other communities that's already working on this.
That's correct, Selectman McBrayer. We discussed this last month.
Yeah.
And so I have provided to the board a draft of several amendments to our zoning ordinance. We had to add some definitions. We had to do some classifications of zoning and of course, ultimately where medical cannabis facilities would go and the distance between liquor stores. We in fact didn't have a definition of liquor and package stores. So we're adding that as well. What would happen at this point, Mr. Mayor, is that the individual board members, of course, would look this over. We'd set a public hearing. I am convinced that would be necessary. And then after the public hearing, a formal vote, and then the actual work of amending in hard copy the zoning ordinance.
Okay. So the actual motion needs to be
Advertised for a public hearing.
Right.
That's correct.
And what is the requirements on the time frame for the advertisement?
I can't remember off the top of my head what that is, but I'll make sure I discuss that with Mr. Jones, and we'll get that into the advertisement. So if the board could approve advertisement in legal form, we'll take care of that.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we approve the advertisement for a public hearing and for the changing of the ordinances for the purposes of distancing between the so-called businesses.
Second,
Moved and properly second, any discussion?
question. What role would the, planning commission play?
So the board can, on its own, suggest changes to the zoning ordinance, so can citizens. But when they do that, that process goes through the planning commission. But the ordinance specifically contemplates that all of you hardworking public servants may from time to time see a need to do that.
Thank you, sir.
And before we entertain a vote, just for clarity, I want the message to be clear that this administration, this mayor is pro-business. We would never do anything to stunt business and economic growth. We're just trying to do it in a common sense way. As we all know, where there is no structure, there is always chaos. So we're just trying to put some structure to it. So as we grow responsibly, I guess is a better phrase. So I don't want the sentiment to be, hey, man, they blocking business in West Point. That's not what we're doing. We're very business friendly and very small business oriented. And I just wanted that sentiment to be out there. Any more discussion on the motion?
Once we approve the advertisement for the public hearing, how soon will that advertisement go out, Mr. Randy?
Well, at the weekend paper, we could get it the weekend.
Okay.
And then the next day, we can follow the Wednesday.
Okay. Is it required for 2 publications?
I'm sure you are required to do publication, usually a week apart. And I think the date for between the first notice and the hearing is what the date was on. I think you use the first date as the public notice, where it's 15 days or 30 days, it's in there. First date of publication, set that time schedule, so it can occur pretty quickly. And you get those planning commission?
No.
I don't believe it has to. I mean, the planning commission certainly has to comment and make recommendations to this board regarding various things. As I understand it, this is coming from the board. I don't believe that we received a petitioner application from anyone else. And that's certainly fine for the planning commission to look at the language and to make a recommendation, but ultimately we get to a public hearing.
Any more discussion? There being none, all in favor by sign of voting aye. Aye. Opposers? So ordered. Agenda item 15, asking for board approval, travel for LaDaniel Jenkins to attend the Mississippi Rural Water Association certification class. Dates are October 13th through 17th of this year in Pearl, Mississippi.
So moved.
Second,
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye. Aye. Any opposers? That is so ordered. Agenda item 16, asking for board approval for travel for Chief Operator Sean Doss to attend the Mississippi Rural Water Association Fall Training Class. Dates October 15th through 17th in Tupelo.
Motion that we approve travel for Sean Dawes through the Mississippi Rural Water Association 2024 fall training.
second,
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye. Aye. Opposers? So ordered. Item 17, asking for travel approval for EMA Director Tori Williams to attend Advanced 1 class, October 6th through 11th, 2024 in Pearl.
second,
Moving properly second. And I know last night, Selectman McBrayer asked if the money was budgeted for this travel. I think we'll be fine approving these travel requests, but I do want to urge all department heads, before you bring a travel request before this board, please examine your own budgets and make sure that you have sufficient funding in your line items before you do so. Because if we go over, we're gonna be having a different conversation. I just want to put that out there.
Mr. Mayor, I need to recuse myself on the next item.
Okay, consider yourself accused. Any more discussion? Did we make a motion on tour? Any more discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? So ordered. Agenda item 18, asking for board approval for travel, long-term coordinator Dorothy Ryland to attend the Midwinter Emergency Management Conference, dates of November 18th through 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? So ordered. Item 19, asking for travel approval, city clerk Ms. Dolores Doss to attend the Winter Clerk Conference, Elections Matter Conference, dates December 11th through 13th in Flowood.
Motion that we approve travel for Ms. Dolores Dawes Election Matter Conference, December 11th to the 13th.
Second.
Moved properly second, any discussion?
I do think this is an important deal, and that we have an election coming up, and we want to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row.
Absolutely. I think we all want to have a clean and clean election. The more informed we are, the better off we are. Agenda item 20, asking for board approval to travel for Deputy CAO Sherman Carruthers to attend the same conference December 11th, 13th through 13th in Flowood.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Moving proper second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? So ordered. We're moving to department head reports, beginning with Mr. Longstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. On my report, I would like to say that as part of the public relations liaison, we do contact the local newspaper, the Daily Times Leader, and the local television station every month for coverage of our board meetings, as they do in other municipalities, as well as any activity that's going on in our city. So when you do see activities being publicized in the paper and coverage of the activities on the TV, coordination between the mayor and the city hall that is taking place. I want to also make mention of that we have, with the assistance of the CEO, released the bid for right-of-way clearing for our electric department for those respective areas. And also want you to know that our backup UPS system went down close to 6 months ago, July, and you have it's been provided to the we have 2 quotes for that UPS backup system. The first quote is from Allied Technology Group LLC for $10,222.30. The second quote is from Power Solution for $10,363.78. And our recommendation would be to go with the lowest quote, which would be from Applied Technology Group LLC for $10,222.30. This was discussed in the department head meeting a few weeks ago, and the mayor recommended best, since it's over that threshold, that it be brought to the board to be approved for expenditure, which is in the budget, which our IT director, Roy Cox, had submitted to me, and I submitted to the finance committee when we met. So I would like to ask for your approval to move forward with
Mr.
that.
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we accept the quote from Applied Technology Group LLC in the amount of $10,222.30.
Second.
Moved and properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? So ordered.
Would like to say, Mayor and Board, that we've had the two apprentices started Tuesday after Labor Day. That's Elisha Halbert and Todd Rod, and they're doing well. They've been assigned to the senior lineman to observe and to watch. We met with them today as a recommendation for the mayor last night in preparation for the potential inclement weather that we're expecting on Thursday. And so we have already stocked the trucks. We've got a game plan for that in case we do. We also met with the water and sewer group, and Marty and I talked about it now. I want to remind the mayor and the citizens that if we get extended amount of rain, we're going to have some sewer overflow in the streets. And I know Mr. Cox always does a good job making sure that his group gets out. So we're asking for tolerance and for you to be palatable when we have those issues, and let us know, and we'll do all we can to correct them as much as possible. We can't control the amount of rain. Attorney Richmond and I do our best to get a message upstairs, but God is in control. So
This is somewhat for Chris. Can we make sure, and y'all probably already do this, can we make sure that we ride and check all the hot spots that normally
Gives us
drains
problems.
get clogged up? Yeah, make sure everything's clear.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to back up. You mentioned that we're accepting quotes on the overhead right-of-way clearing. And when we did our budgetary planning, we estimated that to be around that, $600,000-700,000.
Right.
Okay. And we were able to plan for that without an increase in rates.
Right.
And the way we were able to plan for that, we reduced the amount of in lieu of tax from the general fund to support the electrical department that they would have been paying us to be able to do that. And I just, from an educational standpoint, that's what we're doing to protect the ratepayers in the city of West Point, so they're not paying more than what they,
Right, that's right, Selectman McBride. He and Selectman Poole and the mayor and CEO Jones and the West Point Electric accountant Brad Nestor, we had a very thorough, intense discussion on that, and for the benefit of the citizens and for the rest of the board, Selectman McBride is right, and we did come to an agreement on that, and in the amount of $150,000 reduction in the in lieu tax that the electric department would be paying to the city, so that we could be able to do that and stay within the budget and be in the black. And so we will monitor those. And Jitwell, who is our electrical consultant, they will be the ones that will be handling that process for us. And then, of course, once those bids come in, you'll be made known. And then, of course, we have a public open bidding process, and then look at it and see where we stand.
And also for education, our overhead clearance projects is usually hits every other year. And with everything that's going on in the economy and whatnot, most communities in the state of Mississippi had to put an increase on their utility rates against their ratepayers. We did not. And so, I mean, that's just the fact of it. And we're able to still plan and do our projects and maintenance that we need to, but we're not going up. The only, if there is an increase, and I'm being told October, but it's a pass-through what TVA charges us, but not because the city of West Point's having to increase to pay for bills.
That is correct.
And we did have a local power agreement, local power manager meeting. I joined by way of remote. We had Commissioner Bill Rennick, who is the last commissioner on the TVA board that was approved. There are 2 commissioners' approval pending, and of course we know they won't get approved because Congress is not in the business of approving anything right now. They're all trying to get reelected. So that was made known. Also, we will be going to the TVA meeting on Thursday of this week, or any approval for any funding, but that is for tax credit for those individuals who are in the TVA, LPC area. The only long-term project, mayor and the board and CEO Jones. I know that we might need in the matching would be converting the north substation from 46 kVg to 161 kV. If there's any others, Mayor or the utility committee or CEO Jones, or Deputy CEO Carruthers, if you get that to me, and we'll make those presentations at that particular meeting on Thursday this week in Tupelo at the Renaissance Ideas Center building. Other than that, Mayor and Board, I don't have any other matters to bring before you. Thank you, sir.
We're back up to the right-of-way clearing. One of the things that we did discuss was us doing a right-of-way clearing ourselves due to the rising cost of what we're being charged to do that right-of-way clearing every other year, and how high this has gone up. It may be more economical for us to train our own people, get our people trained by our own equipment. Let's pick that back up and see what we do on that. I'm not gonna put you on the spot and ask you what we are. But I think it'll be more beneficial to us if we look into that and explore that as an option, because not only can we do it there, but we have other areas that we can do some clearing if we had our own people. But right now we are heavily dependent on hiring outside sources, and then those costs are steady going up. So let's pick that back up
I think one setback we had, one of the individuals that actually was gonna come to work for us, and we hired him, and then they turned us down after the fact. Actually, he did that for the utility that he worked at, and so we were gonna use his knowledge to come in and set it. But that doesn't mean we still can't move forward.
Right. Because one of the apprentices was one of those who was a part of that team that we did get, but he didn't have the experience that he had. And Selectman Poole is right, for the benefit of the citizens and for the others, is that we spend anywhere between $500,000 to $750,000 a year if we do all of our right-of-way clearing.
Every other year.
Every other year, that's outsourced. So the concept behind that was, we had a gentleman who interviewed with us, had 15 years of experience, and ran a right-of-way clearing. I think they cleared for about 4 counties. And that would have been a great asset to the electric department to do our own, and we will take that up. 2 other things. We had 2 new cashiers that started this week also, Mayor. And of course, you know, our new building inspector, and we will be moving forward. And so we want to make sure you know that. One thing we have done to sort of curtail expenses, and I know from time to time, many of you call and ask me for individuals. We have tried to educate and have upgraded the West Point Facebook page, asking all citizens who do not come and pay their electric utilities in person and would like to pay them online, go to wpnet.org, wpnet.org, and you can pay your light bill. There's a link there to tell you to pay your utility bills. If you go to DOCSO, until the utility committee tells otherwise, the mayor and the board, DOCSO does not process your payment in a timely fashion. And until we receive payment, your bill has not been paid. The third option is that when you pay your utility bills with your bank debit card, there are some banks who will show that the money has been taken out of your account, but they process all debit payments to an entity at one time and send a official bank check to the electric department. Until we receive payment, your bill has not been paid, even though it may show on your bank account, on your credit card, that payment has been deducted. But until we receive that payment in-house, we can't credit your account as being paid. And so we also try to educate our citizens that once you receive your electric utility bill for water, light, sewer, sanitation, there's 15 days after the initial you receive that bill. The day the bill is due, the late fee is assessed the next day. My bill is due on the 10th. If it's not paid on the 10th, at midnight, the 11th roll over, my late fee, but I have 15 days from the 10th. So if I have not paid it by the 25th, I'm eligible to be cut off. You only receive 2 extensions per year, and the extensions can't be back to back. So I just want to make sure we understand that.
This doxo, that you referred to, let us have a discussion on the doxo later, because that may need to be taken down, because when you're allowing somebody to access to pay their bill, and then it's not being transferred over, and then now they get either cut off or a late fee, and thinking that they bill paid. So let us discuss that and see if we can do something different with that.
We need legal counsel on that. We're not against this wall, but we'll be legal counsel.
That's an excellent point. I mean, it's something we do need to talk about. I mean, if we provide a means, make it available, there may be the belief it's done, and as I understand you, may not be done. And so either some very clear information and instructions about that, or maybe we need to do something else.
Because I get a lot of after-hour phone calls.
Yes, sir. And that's what runs my budget up in personnel, because we're trying to limit the number. With the individuals on standby, they get standby pay, but when they have to go out, they get triple.
But they don't know, like I said, they don't know why I was paying online, my license, I got 5 kids, you know.
Well, we try to work with all our citizens, but it looks like when you pay it, you have 15 days from the date it's due.
Thank you, sir. I do want to back up and elaborate on one point that was brought up by Selectman McBrayer, because I don't want this to be overlooked. And it is in relation to what we're doing with our electric department. Every LPC, every local power company has experienced inflationary pressures, rising cost of fuel, rising cost to provide energy in general. And the city of West Point has not made a decision to raise any electric rates. We've made some internal moves to kind of prop up our electric department, if you will. So the general side has done better than expected. And of course, we've got some struggles in our electric department, nothing that's dire straits, but just some stuff that we're paying attention to. So we've alleviated some of what the electric department is mandated to pay the general, because the general has been managed so well and has performed so well. So we've kind of alleviated some of the pressures, financial pressures of what the electric department owes the general side, to kind of offset, some of the shortfalls. And so I just don't want that point to get overlooked. I know we get beat up a lot about, utility rates and all these things, but we haven't raised any rates under this administration. I know the only rate increase that we've experienced has been a pass through from TVA, and there's really not much we can do about that. But I just want citizens to know that we are paying attention to it. We try to buckle down and manage the funds as best we can to not have to pass along any increases to the paying public, and we'll continue to do so. So I just didn't want that point to get lost in the sauce, so I wanted to beat that one a little bit. Mr. Riley.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. As of August 24th, we've had a total of 33 permits issued, 22 inspections, 1 business inspection. That was Megan Onan at 3229 East Church Hill.
You may have set a West Point record in 1 month. Any questions for Mr. Riley, code enforcement? Not code enforcement, building inspector. Code enforcement, Johnson.
Any new business coming, you can go back?
Some that was on the table already, Love has started. They've yet to bring their prints in, but Love has started. I've been over to Save a Lot.
Right.
They also started that process of, they was cleaning the freezers, so, and they had trucks there that started getting ready to stop. So that's pretty much
Thank you, sir.
commercial.
Just clear this up, it's not Save-A-Lot, correct?
Disable that building.
Oh, it's Save-A-Lot building. Just want to clear this up. It's
And
Save-A-Lot building.
the brewery is moving ahead. They've got their permit and they started the demo at the Justice Company. That's a pretty big demo job there.
Everything's shot, that's why they're doing the road, right?
Yeah.
Mayor, that's why they're doing the road on North Division, because the bird set.
I hope so.
Yeah. I know that's what they said, they was gonna wait till.
Right. There's a few more things that gotta go before they start doing the road for that brewery yet, just yet.
But they're doing it now, that's what's talking.
They just.
They just add asphalt right up to it.
Yeah, there's some other things that have to be done, as I understand.
Right. Right, they do asphalt, they do. You're right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Chief Wilbur?
But they don't pay me, they just took them.
Good evening, everyone. Other than my normal report, I just want to remind everybody that we are under a countywide burn ban until September 28th. That's set by the Forestry Commission. Even if we get, this 4 inches of rain that we're supposed to get this Thursday, we're still going to be under a burn ban. And then also one thing the public needs to be aware of is we've had 3 fires in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks that have all gone back to these multi-chargers, multi-flood deals, and they all seem to have been overloaded, every one of them. We just need to remind everybody that those things, even if they've got 4 or 5 outlets in them, you're not really supposed to put 4 or 5 things in there, or 4 or 5 plus some double plugs and some triple plugs and all that. You've got 8 or 9 items in there, because they will overheat and they will catch fire.
Talking about the surge protector.
Yes. And there are some of the really cheaper ones that are out there are actually knockoffs that are counterfeit.
Right.
And they've made it into this country and sold, and they're really dangerous.
Does the countywide burn ban cover the city? Because I know last month we lifted
Yes.
our burn ban,
Yes.
so we don't need to reinstate it because we're under the county's.
Correct.
Okay.
But that does run through September 28th, unless
They
the Forestry
extend it.
Commission extends it or lets it run. And then the county board of supervisors also is involved. But other than that, I don't have anything. If you have any questions.
Yes, Chief, they put you on the spot, because I want to ask you about this later, but the condition of our guys in that turnouts. What the condition of our turnout? Where are we on that turnout?
Turnouts, we're waiting on the fire grant stuff still on what we worked with on the budget, and still got the money sitting by to purchase for front duty firefighters, firemen that involved in that. Last I looked at, they were dispersed the 7th, that last I looked at, they were dispersed the 7th round, but they have no target to say when they're gonna be through dispersing. But we've heard nothing on it. But we do need turnouts, but we're doing the best we can on what we have. We're buying new ones when we have to.
Okay.
For the younger guys, especially if we just bought one set for one of the guys that's in the fire academy right now.
Get together and talk about that later.
Okay. But we did set aside money in the budget this year for the frontline guys and set up for that.
How many did we cover?
It will depend on pricing. It was $38,000. So we're gonna stretch it as far as we can to get it together, but it'll cover 12 at least.
And for clarity, Chief, I know when you and the mayor was on television talking about the grant, Anchorman said that came from the county. Said the county board had voted on that. But
That was he misspoke on that.
yeah, he misspoke, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was
Fake
that
news.
was Homeland Security, Homeland Security through us writing the grant.
I thought he was correct, you know. They said county board voted on it.
Misinformation is
There's
bad.
no question.
Chief, you talked about the 3 fires, and I know that in your business, there's certain terminology, cause and origin, investigations, that sort of thing. were those three investigated by the state fire marshal? And I just, it just struck me, with my lawyer hat, of course, I thought I heard you say 3 fires with similar
Right.
cause and origin. That's odd.
In different areas and all that stuff, but every one of them, we've got 3 certified investigators with the department. Me, Cody Parker, and Lance Stewart. And we've all 3 looked at it and look at it separately. And then people go in there and look at it and it comes back. You go back to burn patterns, low burn, deep burn, most.
And so the 3 of you all looked at each of these and made the determination that it was these. And then what do you do with that information?
That is just put out a warning. We can't really do anything with it.
Do you
other
share
than
it with
warn
the
public
state?
And say, look, we need to stop, don't overload these, don't, as far as if it's the ones that are the counterfeit ones, there's not really, I don't know much we can do with it.
It just seems to me that's valuable information. If this is occurring all over the country, it seems to me that having it in your files is one thing. Having that information aggregated somewhere may lead to a recall, better warnings, something. I was just curious about what happens with.
There's a lot of it's, I don't want to say misuse, but people go in, they'll plug one into another, and have it just lined up in a series. They're not designed for that.
Yeah, even that information would be.
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
So only thing right there, fire marshal out is death. If it be a death or something, they'll come out then.
Death, and then there's a monetary limit also.
Okay.
Like $300,000, I think.
Okay.
Or if we have any questions, there's more than more to come, but it was pretty obvious on all 3 of them. One of them wasn't a real as bad as the other 2, to the point of we were able to walk in and the thing was, the actual block itself was burned in half and still smoldering and all that in the room, so.
And you're saying that when this happened, they're plugged in series?
Well, they can be plugged in a series, or they can put a double plug inside of, they'll say you've got one that's got 5 plugs in it. And they'll put a double plug in one of those plugs. And then plug that up, or they'll just have all 5 loaded up with 5 appliances that are really, the amperage load on it is too much for that circuit, or too much for that charger, or that power strip. There are limits on what those things can handle. It depends on the size of the cord and the size of wiring inside of it, depending on the amperage of what you're pulling on there.
That sounds like we need to talk to people about these things.
It is true. Any more questions for Chief Wilbur? Thank you, sir. Public Works, Mr. Cox.
Yeah. No more than discussed last night about the work company. And adding another one to the truck tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And Coach Pickens asked me when I come around the football field, I want to know if there's anything I can go to y'all for one round, better high school spray.
Just a spray?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not a big deal, just do it. Are we violating anything about?
And we don't ask that question openly, Mr.
That's why we gotta leave the camera.
I'm sure this can be taken care of elsewhere.
What do you think?
I ain't got no problem doing it, I just want the board to do that.
Yeah, that's enough about that.
Any questions for Chris?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
They know enough.
PD, Chief Cook.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening.
I have 2 personnel that I'd like to hire, one part-time and one full-time. The part-time is certified, the full-time has been to the academy, both will be going to the patrol division. The first one being Jalen Goins, Goins, He's, be the full-time officer, non-certified, he'll be in the patrol division.
Jalen Goins. What do I hear?
So moved.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered.
The next one would be part-time Raven Ivy. She's part-time certified, she'll be going to patrol division.
Mr. Mayor, make that motion, we have Ms. Ives.
Second.
Moving properly second, any discussion? All in favor by sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Anything else?
I think she was,
Any questions for the police department?
yeah, was Miss I, did she work for us previously?
She did,
And she was in the detective division, wasn't
yes, sir,
it? Okay.
She's going back to patrol.
yes.
Question, Chief, about the cameras, give the public about the cameras,
What about?
the purpose of why we got the cameras at, you don't know.
We got, six cameras up now. No, four. We have 4 cameras up now. We got 4 more to come up. I think they're putting up 2 more next week. We haven't decided those locations yet, but we got 2 more coming up next week.
And all these is catching people coming in and out of town. That's
Right, the ones that we put up first, to secure the perimeters of the city.
Right, right.
Did you notice how he said that?
Hey, him police. I'm scared.
We're not really trying to catch anybody, we're trying to secure.
They see the blue lights, though. Caution.
Any more questions for the police department? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Park and Rec.
This was on our reports and, just, I had somebody come with the irrigation.
When did you say we were gonna get started on the sidewalks?
We could set to it.
Okay. And they're gonna get all the ones leading up to the softball
We
field?
went through the whole time.
I
Oh,
thought,
I want to thank, Sean Ellis came and resurfaced the parking lot, stirred up the gravel. So, thank Sean for that.
You know wastewater down there. Thank you, Sean. Any questions for Park and Rec? Not Deputy CAO?
Other than what's in the report, Mr. Mayor, we have received a draft copy on, we're in the process of reviewing it.
Okay, and as you know, we're on the clock for setting our millage. I know I had asked you to get with the county. I know that there was some indiscrepancies there, but are we moving any further along with that?
To the best of my knowledge, the list has not been approved yet. Have you heard? Because others, I have a preliminary, but those are not, approved numbers.
Well, you know, I told you, I'm gonna follow your lead. You let me know when you want me to get the finance committee together. But I do know that the clock is ticking. You gotta have it approved by October 1, is that correct?
That's correct. And we have a tentative date scheduled. We talking about having a special call board meeting that we'll have to get that bill set. What we were saying, was that date somewhere around, what we said, 18th, 19th, somewhere? What was the last date, Dolores, that we did it last year? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
Was it the 20th something?
Last week in September.
Last week. Yeah. So we're trying our best to get everything, so.
Well, I know we probably would have a need for a special call meeting, for that and another matter. I'm gonna go ahead and leak this one because I'm a hard hitter. I got a call today that Joe Max Higgins with the link wants to meet with the EDD, which is the Economic Development folks, the county and the city. And anybody that pays attention knows that usually when that meeting is called, something special is about to happen. So I'll leak that little piece of information. Stay tuned.
has the county provided us with the assessed value for the city?
Those are the numbers that they're talking about.
Have they provided them to us?
Yeah, they've been talking about,
Have they provided them to us?
yeah, well, she has given me a tentative list and now she's come back saying, oh, we're waiting now. We don't know if these are gonna be the true numbers.
Well, when is she gonna give us the true numbers?
And that's a good question. That's what the mayor and I are talking about. That's what we're waiting on.
I'm gonna say that if we don't have some numbers by, say, Thursday, we kind of turn the heat up a little bit, because we need to, we need a week or two to hash this out. I don't wanna get caught in a last minute situation and we make a crisis decision.
That's correct.
If we can avoid it. So, let me look at my calendar here. We got,
Is it fair to say the assessed values of property are gonna be higher?
I was told that the assessed values were higher. Didn't you hear that, Mr. Jones, by over 20%?
I need some money.
Blessing in disguise.
Right.
But it's been a routine here with all economic development. We've been for life now, as far as whatever the state's gonna do to it, can't tell you that. That's what we're waiting on. The state has to approve county's assessed tax. If they extend it to the state, but the state has responsibility.
And then that affects property tax calculation. Okay.
any more questions for Deputy CAO Carruthers?
When we were talking about the need for a special call meeting, can we also coincide that with the public hearing on the amended ordinances or the?
I guess pending we have all pertinent information.
We meet all the time parameters.
Yeah. Because because we voted to advertise, if we meet the time, and if we meet at the end of the month, we can do it all in one meeting.
Right.
Okay.
It's just a matter of when we meet the time.
Okay.
All right, you have anything else to report, sir?
Other than what's in the report, Tropical Storm Francine, we've been watching it. We're supposed to be getting some, a lot of rain from it, between 3 to 5 inches, starting, tomorrow night through all day Thursday. We're also supposed to be getting some wind, with some really strong wind gusts. And with that being said, with us being dry, trees being dry, the ground being dry, the potential for trees to fall and power outages. So we want everybody to be aware of that, be prepared for that. I sent an email out earlier today, should have gone to all the department heads, everybody, giving an update. If they do have any problems and anything like that, to let me know if it's something that they're needing while this is going on, to also let our office know. A few things to point out that's in the report. I did speak with the Horn Group also about a couple other grant opportunities for the city. So we're still working on that. And then on the long-term side, there were 15 families that we assisted with utility bills, 5 families to the food pantry, 3 fire victims, 1 rental placement assistance, 1 family visit to the relief closet, which is a program that we have that we started up to help different families get things that they're needing, that they're not able to get, and also provided 2 families with food vouchers. So our office, that's one thing that we do of many in the emergency management office. That's one thing. Everybody knows Ms. Dorothy died, to go to her for a lot of things. But not only do we do for the emergency response and coordination, we also help on the humanitarian side. And it's a lot of backroom stuff that a lot of people don't see that the EMA office does. They always expect a sausage on the shelf. Nobody really knows or expect how it's actually made.
We appreciate all that y'all do. Keep us safe. Anything else to report?
That's it.
Any questions?
I got one. Will there be, are we expecting a tornadic weather?
There is a slight chance for tornadic weather.
Wednesday or Thursday?
It's going to be on Thursday.
No, not Wednesday. I heard Wednesday.
Our area is mainly on Thursday.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
You just supposed to got more good news than you do bad news. fast long key time, just so you'll know. The bid was accepted from APAC for the AIP program for overlay the runway and parking ramp. The repainting, that work is gonna be starting pretty soon here. We'll have to close the airport for about 2 weeks while they do that. And I think the River Valley Management District is undertaking the erosion control project that's next to Mossy Oak and Town Creek. And we prepared the material, for their work. We're glad we don't have to pay their labor. So,
Is that the only drainage ditch they'll be giving attention to when they're here? Is that the only drainage ditch that they'll be giving attention to?
For now, it goes by project, and what we do is we turn our request into the county board of supervisors, because they're the only ones that can request assistance. Some people were Valley folks, and they approve this particular one coming in. But if we got more than we need, we just have to identify that to the county. And off the top of my head, I don't think we're getting any erosion.
Well, Chris, what are y'all saying out in the field? Drainage ditches that may need these some big folks to come in. I know the one that runs beside the Shell station on Main Street.
Town
Trees
Creek,
and
that's
stuff.
Town Creek.
They've been there twice since I've been around, to help with that. Be probably a good time to come back and ask them again. The biggest problem with that is originally that Town Creek there used to run right through the middle of the parking lot. And years ago, much before my time, they put 2 90-degree turns in. And one comes around Ellis Steel, turns and butts right up to their buildings on the south side of Oak Street. And then on the east end of their building on Oak Street, and then their second building comes around the corner on the south side of Oak Street, just another 90-degree bend there. And that's kind of, you can imagine that torrential water that comes down. It knocks stuff loose. I think it's been, Chris, do you remember how many years ago? They hadn't been that long, 4 or 5 years. About 5 or 6 years, they came with a major project, but we did the same thing there to control the erosion. As far as I know, there's not many more erosion problems in those 2 areas. Where you're talking about now, next to Main Street, that certainly needs some help getting in there to clear that. And they can help with that. We'll ask for
Any update on the small breach that we have on Main Street that's causing the?
We're still waiting on the structural guys. They have some ideas that they're passing along amongst themselves about how to do that, but they have not heard anything.
That's been going on a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And I don't want us to wait till it collapses.
But I'm not enough expert on the engineering side. That's a difficult thing down there, and I don't know if they, I'll inquire tomorrow.
The only certainty is we know it's not gonna get any better.
On things like that, you can fix a pretty big solution, you better have pockets pretty deep. More on the good news side, we received $650,000 for airport improvement that came through Senator Wicker and our congressman in Washington. We also received a multimodal grant for $169,500 more to concrete in all around the T-hangar. Not gonna be any more grass or anything up there. Don't worry about mowing. And no rocks getting slung in the aircraft. Or zero turn board bumping into the aircraft will be out of that backfire. We did open a bid. It was not a bid. It did not meet anywhere near bid requirements for police car leasing. We provided them what they say is the last of financial documents, because we just got the draft audit report this morning, so they got to come back. They couldn't come back with a firm figure. They said, this is what we'll offer, this is what we wanted. Problem is they couldn't guarantee the price will come back later to come with the price. That didn't work.
All right, so what does that do to our time frame? Because I know we almost had died straight.
It should have been 6 months ago, it would have been perfect. But he said, didn't he send you something else today? Okay, But anyway, he's supposed to jump back on it and get with their financial gurus and come up with an offer. And, it was the only bid that we received, as I said, it was nowhere near meeting the purchase law. I'll see how quick it can turn.
All right, well, let's talk about that in the morning.
Yeah, I had to run the advertisement twice. That's getting kind of old too. But, again, over here, I'll let you know that, we got a bid opening on the, Joe Bryant fire line on the 24th, 10 o'clock in the morning of the year. And we talked really nice, and the city has done well. The mayor adequately described what we're doing to control pricing on the utility side of the house. October 1st, a pass-through is coming to us in TVA, about 5%, 5.5%. We don't have a whole lot to say about that. I'll be talking about the next board meeting.
Hey, backing up to the police cars, Sherman and Mr. Randy, can we find out what needs to happen to make this deal happen? I mean, every passing day, we're getting in worse shape on our police car situation. And I understand that they may have some missteps, but if we identify something that they're not doing and we say, hey, you need to do this, let's make that deal fly, man. It's time. We've been kicking this can too long.
The thing was, what he sent in was in his bid tabulation. You will not have seen that until the opening of the bid, and he was not concrete with his price. That's what happened.
Okay, and so our response to him was, we told him that, and then he said he'll have us firm pricing when.
He didn't give us a day this morning. I don't know why he couldn't turn it around in a couple of days. But he had to talk to his finance guru, his enterprise, get their cover. So they were the ones that kept telling him that they need to have all audits from 23. They hadn't even started on the 23 audit yet. I can't make it happen. None of us can. It's another audit agency. But we did get him the 22. Yes, we did get the draft of 22. He has the 21 audit and has had it all along. And I have never, ever run into a problem whether I'm buying something, lease purchasing something, offering contracts to whomever, architects or engineers. I have never, and they always ask, for your audit, police finance, and all of them have been able to work from what we give them. The last adopted audit and our financials year to date for what we are currently. I don't know why they've been such a hard hit. You're asking for something I can't give you. And we made that perfectly clear to him today. We can't do it. Here's a draft copy of 22 audit. They will start on the 23 audit once the board adopts the 22 audit.
He sent me a Zoom invite, I think, for Friday. And so we'll make sure we're all on that call. And I'm going to ask them some pretty pointed questions. Because if the deal's going to happen, it needs to happen. If it's not, we'll get off of it and go another route.
We got pretty concise with him this morning about our distribution. It wasn't working out like that.
It was just the chief was there, Mr. Jones and myself. We had him on the phone.
Okay.
And the last thing I got is, we lost Patrick Collins. He was one of our chief operators, and we need to move Jake Pollard, who has shown impressive talent in that department. We need to move him from just a foreman to a lead foreman position, which would involve a pay rate of $21.50, but trying to make it $21.54 and bid just less than a $2 raise at $23.50. All his paperwork is in your package if you want to look at it. All in May.
Why did we lose Patrick?
And in fact,
Did you know that?
hard to get perfect all the way across the board. But one of the things that I was amazed at is to come in there. He certainly has the ability and the ambition to actually be the superintendent.
And why did Patrick leave us? I wasn't aware that he had left.
It had to do with personal, not with him, but family.
Okay.
Thing out there, I get it. But we tried our best to keep him.
But Patrick had been with us quite some time.
Well, you know, he left one other time, when it was leaving, we stopped him from leaving. And then this personal thing, that be too big a problem.
Now, I see his paperwork, and I see that there's an evaluation. Can we start evaluating employees, all employees, on their allotted time, not just when they're up for a promotion? Because it seems like that's what's happening. The only time I get an evaluation is when somebody's advocating for somebody to get a raise.
I know they're doing them in the water department.
They're doing
about every year. In fact, Sherry sends notices down to Margie, letting know that if you're coming up on your 2-year.
Well, I say that because this one's dated 9/5. This was dated September the 5th. And so that would indicate to me that it was just done. Yeah, I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm just asking. We put the evaluations in place for a reason, and this is for CAOs and department heads. Let's use them because they have a purpose. And not just when we want to talk about a specific employee, then do an evaluation. I don't think that's fair. It needs to be part of our processes.
I think if they get an evaluation, they just don't send it to the board. So they don't all involve a promotion or favor.
You probably should send those in when you, if that's the case, you should send all of them in. If you, especially when they come up like that, and then send what you have on that employee too.
If Mayor Morgan, WPS, we do and the personnel human resource falls on me and WPS Act. We do send them out and we do the evaluations. The evaluations do not require a promotion or a pay increase. Normally they just go to the CEO and go to the personnel file. And we have, in the last staff meeting that I sent you all, invite the CEO and CEO, is that we made in the WPS employees aware, and they need to be made aware across the board, is that when you transfer from one department, if both department heads agree and the board has no objection, the pay raise does not automatically transfer. So if you're making $14.50 in one department, you want to move to another department, both department heads agree, and administration doesn't have an objection, and where you're moving is 12, you will get whatever that pay is in that department.
I think
The other thing is that we made them aware of is that time cannot be used until it's approved. In this city, we get 1 sick day per month, and that sick day cannot be used until it's approved. And you need to be sick when you use it. We have people who are sick, and then on Facebook on the beach in Miami, I took a sick day. So that's something that, we have to understand. And another matter is that when you take sick time, I'm saying this for the benefit of others, because I'm having problems with it, I'm sure some other departments might be, department heads, is that we allow it. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I come in, and that doctor's appointment at 9, I get 2 hours. If I'm not back by that time, then I get the hospital. But if you take a sick day, you don't get to take 6 hours. The whole 8 hours that day is charged against you for being out sick. If you're out 3 days consecutively, you have to file excuse back. If you're sick and go and take that 2 hour or sick time or doctor visit, and you come back to work, you're supposed to bring a doctor excuse back what you say you've been to the doctor. I can just take 2 hours, so you've been to the doctor, and we have no proof of that. And that goes into the personnel file.
Well, I mean, my point is, I just want us to start using the evaluations that they're there, the documents have been formulated, it's been approved by this board. And, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but here's why you use evaluations. Evaluations are really simple tool to use to reward performing employees and not reward poor performing employees. They're used to justify God forbid you have to take disciplinary action on somebody. You know, because what's happened for way too long in this city, this is just my opinion, is that, you know, there have been people terminated over the years, and then you get an attorney involved, and you go back and there's no record of this employee's performance. And so then you leave the canvas to be painted by an attorney who's gonna likely paint an unfavorable picture to the city. So we wanna use these evaluations as a way to reward people who should be rewarded, and justification of why a person who is not performing is not rewarded. And so that's why it's important to do it across the board and not just sporadically when we got one person that's on the, you know, on the discussion block, and then we evaluate them so that they have a, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it appears that they have a favorable evaluation, therefore they are in line for this raise. That's not the intent of it. So I want to make sure we're using them. They're there. Let's use them.
One of the public safety commissioners, I understand what the police department does is they do an evaluation on all the employees every year. And they're turning those in. Is that correct? So they're doing an evaluation on every employee every year. So you have a yearly evaluation. And it may be a good practice, healthy practice for those of you who are not doing these evaluations on periodically, maybe a good practice to pick up. But the evaluation has to be done. Now, you're gonna do them on a yearly, you're gonna do them quarterly, however you're gonna do them, but the evaluation still has to be done. They still have to be evaluated.
As far as I know, you can probably tell we're doing it every year, every employee.
Oh, that's fine, bring it down. That's okay, I just want to be, because it's not up here now. So on this particular employee, it's not up here now. The past evaluations are not up here with it. And I think that the issue that he's saying is that we don't have an evaluation on.
You want all historical evaluation. I'll be glad to get it, that's what we want.
Just make sure that they're being recorded in the proper places, is what I'm saying.
And more so than the evaluation, we have personnel status sheets. If you don't show up one day, we don't do one of these evaluations. We prepare a personnel status sheet. And the ones that are a problem, trust me, there's plenty of stuff, paper in the packet. You get pretty thick sometimes. We're about to terminate somebody. Anyway. But that was all of our recommendations. Did we make them?
No, we never did.
The lead foreman for the water department crew, according, Marty's not there for some reason, he's gonna let the show, be in charge of everybody.
And so we do need board action for that.
Mayor, I make a motion that we promote Mr. Pollard to lead foreman.
Second.
Moving proper second in discussion.
And also with the motion that the pay goes with that recommendation that was.
Any more discussion? All in favor by sign of vote aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Anything else to claim our attention before we close the meeting and determine the need for executive session? Is there a need for executive?
Is there a need for one? Does the attorney have any updates on any issues that's outstanding?
I don't, I think we have them all
taken care of.
That's outstanding.
Motion.
I understand.
I do want to make a motion for close of the executive session. I do. Need
All right,
executive session.
There's a motion, is there a second? All in favor by sign of vote aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Meeting is closed, and there is a need for executive session for the purpose of.
Yeah, go for it.
For the purpose of the meeting, for the purpose of the meeting.
Let me, they're gonna make a formal determination what time to go into executive session. We got back to everyone, motion made. We will report on. Yes, sir.
All the way down here.